Good morning and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group. And again, we appreciate you tuning in this morning, where every week we talk about retirement, the ins and outs, the good and the bad. And today, if you have anything you want to talk about or questions that may arise, feel free to give us a call at 612-504-8400. Visit us online at havenfinancialgroup.com. Kim, good to be with you again this week.
It is great to be with you as well, my friend. And we're just marching through March here. We're going to talk this morning about readiness when it comes to retirement. You know, it seems like to me, Larry, besides the question of do I have enough money, I think probably one of the other big questions associated with retirement is, am I ready? You know, is this the time? Is this the right time? And what do I need to do to make sure that I'm ready? So I think today's show is going to answer a whole lot of those questions. And if it doesn't, then of course we're going to tell everybody how they can get hold of you. Let's take a look at the subjects, understanding retirement readiness. So what exactly does that mean? Key questions to focus your retirement income strategies. Then we're going to talk about your retirement timeline. And by the way, it's marked by a number of different important birthdays. So we'll talk about those. And finally, costs and budgets. They are crucial when we start to look at that big retirement picture. So Larry, let's get started with what your definition of retirement ready is.
Well, you know, retirement planning is really a bunch of advice. You know, having a conversation, start somewhere. What are your goals, aspirations? What is the timeline? We're going to talk a lot about this stuff in the show today. But really, how much applies to you? I mean, certain things apply to everybody. Some things don't apply. And how do you know? What questions do you ask? How does this affect you personally? You know, the timeline is important, but what I've come across over the years is, people that have come across, this get rich quick, hacks to lower your taxes, the one size fits all models. And you know what? If that's the information you're getting, it could be very misleading information, because the honest truth is your retirement plans it should be as unique as you. Whether your situation is complicated, not complicated, tons of kids, no kids, big families, whatever your situation is, this is what your plan should really reflect. And I hear too often, that we do this for everybody. Well, yes, some things we do, some things we don't. And that's why our process really leans on a proprietary process of a discovery meeting of what's your situation. Ask a lot of questions, take notes. Because at the end of the day, when I started the company soon to be 11 years ago, the focus was one thing, and that's the needs of our clients. And it sounds cheesy, but it's the truth. You know, we're going to pour every ounce of effort here at Haven Financial Group into really developing, implementing, and monitoring investment strategies that truly help our clients meet their financial and lifestyle goals, whatever those goals are. We believe in thinking outside the box, and we're not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom in our approach to investing and preserving wealth. And, we talk weekly about all the retirement puzzle pieces. It's more than just about the money. And we'll talk later. Retirement is more than just a number. It's all these other things that really can affect those retirement years. And we want to address them ahead of time proactively, rather than there and going, well, I never really thought of this. Let's talk through it now.
Sure. Well, as we said, there's a lot of questions related to it that are not just about money. Really interesting, some statistics, Larry. Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies found that 52% of respondents to a recent survey said that they want to retire after the age of 65, or they don't plan to retire at all. And that may be due to the fact that 33% of Americans reported that they had to get into their retirement savings during the 2021 economic shakeup. So it is really hard to make the determination as to when you are ready, correct?
It's why you have to have a plan that can be modified or changed, because life's calendar, as I've said many times, doesn't always cooperate with our calendar. You mentioned that 52% of respondents plan to retire after age 65, or not at all. Oh, yeah. But then why is it that people oftentimes end up retiring earlier than anticipate in what their goals are? Well, health issues, the pink slip comes across the table, and what you thought was going to be your picture perfect plan doesn't always and oftentimes doesn't work out that way. So we have to have a plan on the go because these things do happen. You know, you mentioned the 33% of Americans had to tap into their maybe their cash funds, if you will, their emergency funds in 2020, 21. Yeah, that's serious. That set a lot of people back. I mean, we've had many shows talking about inflation, and it's real. And we're going to talk in the show today about why we factor in inflation in our 25 to 35 year plans, because the markets are going to be up, the markets are going to be down. We're going to be at wars, we're not going to be at wars. All of these things, they've happened before. But what's different is for those that we sit down with now, whoa, we're getting close to retirement. Those accumulation years are kind of behind us in the rearview mirror. And now our golden years are in the future. So this is all part of the process, which we want to have these conversations again proactively, not reactively.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the tools that exist out there to help people make the decision as to whether they're ready for retirement.
There's all kinds of vehicles, and again, there's savings vehicles from which are important. I mentioned that most folks don't have enough liquidity. The cash, the savings, the money market, high yield savings account, etc. Those are important. We got to have X amount. You should have X amount, 50 to 100 grand in retirement at your fingertips. That's just a benchmark. And if you're listening this morning, don't get worried about the numbers. That's just a benchmark. And then how have you done preparing and saving for those retirement accounts? Maybe those 401k pre-tax. Maybe you've rolled them into IRAs. Maybe you have Roth IRAs. Maybe you're blessed to have a pension, which very few are anymore. Maybe other things like life insurance, long-term care, investment brokerage accounts. What accounts apply to you? And maybe all of them do, but gives us much more options. Maybe you have annuities, you explored those. The more options, the better. But let's face it, not everybody has that. So then how do we navigate the puzzle of, oh, I don't get a paycheck anymore? In what accounts do I start drawing in the most tax efficient way possible? It's another thing what at Haven, what we help people do, because a lot of times people say, well, I've never been in this situation before. I have no idea where to tap into. And that's the income slash tax plan, which we are going to have a conversation because you worked hard for every one of those dollars and you just don't want to send one to Uncle Sam because you're just a really giving person.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, when you sit down with people and you begin, what are some of the questions that you ask them to find out if they are prepared to retire?
Well, before we get there, we're going to talk about who are they, where did they come from,
Hmm.
what has their experience been, what's their familial situation, kids, no kids, second marriages, all the different dynamics, which some people have, a lot of families do, a lot of families don't. We're going to get into, okay, what are your goals, aspirations, who's the beneficiaries? We boil it down even further. Are you charitable? People say, wow, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, maybe I want to be. Nobody's ever asked me that. Well, we don't we don't give charitably for tax reasons, but it does open up ideas. Now, what we're looking for is ideas based upon your situation. So aside from all the money, you really got to figure out, where do you want to be? Do you want to golf, fish? Because we got to come up with the money for the things that you want. First of all, the things that you need, so then you can develop a budget for the things that you want. All are important, but let's start with the needs first.
Hmm. Is there times, Larry, that you say to people, you're not ready?
Our job isn't to sugarcoat conversations and make them sound fluffy, to make them sound like, oh, everything's good, don't worry about it. We have the easy conversations with those that have done a good job, where we'll sit down and really project this out. Some would call them Monte Carlo projections, well into your mid 90s. Things look good, guys. They really do. We buffered in extra money for this and that, and things look good. And sometimes people are very surprised. Wow, we didn't know we're in such a good spot. And that's good. And that's refreshing. But there's those conversations where, based upon a budget, because we get into those conversations, based upon inflation, based upon what you're wanting to spend, we got a problem. You're running out of money at 77. Well, our family lives longer than that. I hope that you do. but we have to make some modifications. So we have to have the tough conversations as well as the easy conversations. Otherwise, we're doing a disservice to the individuals or families that that we're sitting down with, and that doesn't do anybody any good. Give it to me straight. Give it to me. Give me all the facts so we can deal with what's real and not just fictitious.
So, what we want to know from the folks who are listening this morning is, are you wondering if you're ready? Are you ready to have those hard conversations? Do you want to sit down and look through what you have, what your goals are, and what you're hoping to achieve in retirement? Because if so, the folks at Haven Financial Group would love to have a chat with you. You can reach them at 612-504-8400. Let me give you the number again. It's 612 504-8400. Give him a call. Tell him you heard Larry and me here on the radio and that you'd like to come in and talk about your retirement readiness and find out if, in fact, you're ready to step away from maybe the working world or if you need to spend a few more years there. We're going to continue to talk about this subject. Coming up next, we're going to talk about some of the key questions to focus on when you're looking at retirement income strategies. Obviously, you need to try to figure out where your money's coming from, and that's something you certainly want to know before you pull the trigger and you decide to retire. 612-504-8400 is our number. You're listening to the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.